Battle of Stalingrad. In the sweltering summer of 1942, as the world burned in the fires of the Second World War, Nazi Germany's unstoppable Wehrmacht turned its gaze eastward. Operation Barbarossa had already ravaged the Soviet Union, but Adolf Hitler hungered for more. He set his sights on Stalingrad, a sprawling industrial city on the Volga River, named after his arch-nemesis, Joseph Stalin. Capturing it would not only sever Soviet supply lines, but also deliver a symbolic blow to the heart of communism. Little did Hitler know, this would become the graveyard of his ambitions. The German Sixth Army, commanded by the meticulous General Friedrich Paulus, surged forward like a steel tide. By late August, their panzers and infantry had reached the city's outskirts. The Luftwaffe rained death from the skies, reducing Stalingrad to a smoldering ruin of twisted metal and rubble. Civilians fled or perished, tens of thousands lost in the initial bombardments. But Stalin refused to yield. He ordered General Vasily Chuikov and the 62nd Army to defend every inch. Not a step back. The Soviets turned the devastated urban landscape into a fortress. Factories became strongholds, sewers hid snipers, and every building was a potential ambush point. The fighting descended into hellish close-quarters combat, house by house, room by room. German soldiers, elite and battle-hardened, called it Rattenkrieg, Rat War. Imagine the chaos. Grenades lobbed through windows, bayonets clashing in dark basements, flames licking at the heels of the living and dead alike. Pavlov's house, a single apartment block, held out for 2 months against wave after wave of attacks, defended by a handful of Soviet troops. Snipers like Vasily Zaitsev picked off enemies from the shadows, turning the tide one bullet at a time. Winter crept in, freezing the Volga and the men who fought on its banks. Supplies dwindled. Soldiers on both sides resorted to eating rats and horses to survive the biting cold. But the Soviets had a plan. Under the brilliant strategist General Georgy Zhukov, they amassed forces on the flanks, where weaker Romanian and Italian allies guarded the German lines. On November 19, 1942, Operation Uranus unleashed a thunderous counteroffensive. Soviet tanks and infantry smashed through the thin defenses, encircling Paulus's entire army in a massive Kessel, a cauldron of doom. Over 250,000 Axis troops were trapped, cut off from supplies and reinforcements. Hitler, delusional in his Berlin bunker, forbade retreat. "Stand fast!" He promised airlifts, but the Luftwaffe could barely deliver scraps amid blizzards and anti-aircraft inside the pocket. Despair set in. Starvation, frostbite, and disease claimed more live Stalingrad. History, summary, location, deaths, and facts. Inside the pocket, despair set in. Starvation, frostbite, and disease claimed more lives than bullets. German soldiers, once conquerors, now huddled in ruins, their morale shattered. Paulus begged for permission to break out, but Hitler refused. By January 1943, the end was inevitable. On January 31st, Paulus surrendered, the first German field marshal ever captured. 2 days later, the last pockets of resistance fell. Of the 91,000 prisoners taken, fewer than 6,000 would ever return home. The Battle of Stalingrad claimed over 2 million lives, making it one of history's bloodiest clashes. It marked the turning point of World War II. The Nazis' advance halted, their myth of invincibility broken. From the ashes of Stalingrad rose a resurgent Red Army, pushing westward toward Berlin and ultimate victory. This wasn't just a battle. It was the hinge of fate, where the tide of tyranny began to ebb.